Hello everybody and welcome back to Thursday and our album rescue project. I am headed down on my way to Florida, so we will not be going live today, but I did do a quick video for everybody to try and keep you all moded on your Thursday projects. I have gone through my album and I selected my next set of pages. I'm kind of down to the point where I don't have a lot of 2-page spreads left. I only have a bunch of 1-page spreads, but I wanted to go ahead, since we were all struggling with the virtual crop sketches, I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to do this 2-page sketch. It's very busy and crazy. Again, another example that everybody was kind of struggling with. So this is where I'm starting from. I found these photos again. This was back in 2004. So my photo quality is not the greatest, but this was James at, I think it was Vacation Bible School. So it's just a bunch of random photos. And then I had, it was I guess a Bob the Builder construction kind of site. So I found, remember, Throwback Thursday is all about getting rid of stuff in our stash. So I found these old embellishments that I thought we could add that was fun. And because they were such bright colors, I thought I'm gonna go back to my indoor-outdoor pack and I'm gonna choose these very bright, vibrant colors, which will match with my photos. So this is where we're starting from, and I'm going to build from the left-hand side and I'm going to build my way in. The only thing I'm not quite sure about yet is this inner border. I thought that I might use the vintage BMC, but I'm rethinking that now. I'm just not sure. So we're gonna build the other pieces and then we're gonna come back to that little interior edge. All right, so let me move my photos out of the way. The first thing I'm going to start with is my background page, and I am going to gut that page. Okay, the next block that we have, this is going to be our interior frame, so I'm going to hold off on that for a minute. I need a 9x9-inch frame, which I'm going to use for my green. So it's like this. And then I have my red frame that's going to go around the edge. So I need to cut off 1 inch, right? Because it's a 1/2 inch border all the way around. So it's going to become an 11x11. And I will gut that. I'm just trying to put it all on here just to get the real quick ideas. And then my photos, I'm going to put this one cockeyed to the side. So this is what I'm looking at for this page. Let's go back to look at our, so they used a title block here, and I'm gonna use this fun little Bob the Builder and then just put a small title here. These are 3x3/4 photos, and this is 5 3/4 by 4. So I need to trim them in a little bit. So that's where we're starting. So now I need that inner mat, and this is where I just am not sure what I want to put on the inside, because originally I thought I would do the vintage post BMC. I thought that might look cool on the inside, but then I found that this collection has all these little strips. So then I thought maybe one of these strips would work, but I don't see. Let's just pull them in. Let me just grab a couple of them and let's just look and see, because I always like it when I can use fun little details like that. So here's the one I saw. I don't know. I thought maybe the stars or game time. Game time might be fun. What do you think? I'm not so sure. Let me go grab my vintage chain. You know, I kind of like these strips on the outer edge, to be honest. Those are kind of fun. Let me just cut this one down really quick. See, this is, I had a plan and now I'm changing my plan. This is what happens to me sometimes. I kind of like the stars, but I kind of really like these strips. I just want to pull one for just 1 minute. Let's see. Right, I just want to see, what would it look like if I did it this way? Oh, see, I kind of really like that. What do you guys think? I kind of really like that. And I have enough of this sheet of paper, and I can cut these strips down a little bit more. What do you guys think? Which side do you like better? Do you like the blue stars or the stripes better? All right, hang on a minute. I'm gonna go grab my vintage post BMC. Let me grab that. Okay, so I am back, and you can see that I added the vintage post in the inside, and I like that very much. And I rearranged my photos a little bit. I liked the caution so much. I really want it to be the first thing you see, plus James, because that's really what the album is about. And then the group of leaders and the bulldozer, I moved down. And then this piece, I cut it in a little bit because there was just a bunch of dead space at the top. So now here's where we are. And so now the question becomes, looking at this, do we like it on the stripe side over here on the left, or do we like the star side better on the right? And for me, and especially too, remember I have these fun embellishments which I can add. I like the striped. So I'm going to rearrange this now, and we're going to go with the striped. And because I have so many pieces, I am going to go ahead and bring in a garbage piece of paper so that I can start adhering to it. So let me bring in my mats. I'm excited, actually. It's crazy how you start working on something and then you see something and you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I like that better. Does that ever happen to you guys? When you start one way, one plan, and then the next thing you know, that plan is completely changed and you're doing something completely different. It actually happens to me quite a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to put all of the pieces together on this left-hand side. The first thing I had to do was cut more strips, making sure that I would have enough for my second page because I'll need strips on both sides. Now I decided to bring the red frame back in just so I could make sure when I cut this striped paper that I was giving myself enough room to be able to have it go all the way around. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere my red frame, and then I'm bringing in my center 9x9 inch mat, making sure that it slides under so that I'll be able to use my vintage post framing to put into the inside. And that's what you're going to see me do right here. I realized after the fact that this would have been a lot easier if I had adhered the yellow vintage post to my red frame first and then just put my red frame on the paper. And I literally don't figure that out until almost the entire end of this process. Finally, I bring my pictures back in just so that I can make sure that they all fit and that it's still going to be looking fine with my yellow edge. It looks great. I decide I still want to mount these pictures, and I'm loving yellow the best. So that's what I'm going to do, is I am going to start cutting mats to be able to put my pictures back in here. Right, I've got one more. Now, what I don't know is if I want to mat this one in yellow. I kind of don't want it to become the focus. The other option is I could kind of cut out around it. So I'm going to leave that just like this for now because I'm just not quite sure what I want to do with that one. So I'm going to move this to the side. I need a test paper. I'm running out of test paper, you guys. I've used a lot of mine already. All right, and now the first thing I know I need to do is I know I need to add stripes around the edges, right? And this, remember, this page is different. So this page, what they've done for this page up here, they still have the frame all the way around, but then they pulled in one solid, it's 11 by 11, but then the next piece next to it is 3.5 by 11. So you wouldn't need it to be 11 by 11. You need 11 minus 3.5, which is what, 8? An 8 by 11 piece, and then a 3.5 by 11 piece. So let's talk about that before I glue anything down. So I have red, I have green. So we know this is going to go around the edge, right? So now I have green and red to choose from on here. I also have that fun yellow pattern. So let's pull them in and let's see which way we like it better. So the first one is red. So I have my red striped paper, and then I need to pull green, and the green came from this old green gradient pack that was a specialty last year. A little tiny green, so I could pull the red all the way across, and then the green. And then I'm gonna have these photos. So this is just gonna be a small little 3-piece. This one. And James. And then I'm gonna cut these two because they were dancing and singing. I'm gonna cut these two down here like this. So the question is, do we like the pictures better on red or do we like them better on green? And I can tell you pretty much right now that I'm gonna like them better on red because James looks better in red. James is wearing a red shirt, but just for fun's sake, we'll switch it this direction. Just so you can see. What do you think? It's my scrapbook, I guess, and I like James better on red. So we're gonna do it this way. All right, so I know I need a 3.5 by 11, so move my pictures out of my way. Let me go ahead and cut a 3.5 piece. All right, okay, so 3.5 by 11, and then I need 8.5, right? Is that right? I'm gonna give myself 8 3/4 just to be sure. 8 3/4 by 11. So after I cut my 8.5 by 11 piece of red paper, I need to go back in and cut more strips, which is what you see me doing here. And I didn't have quite enough, so my last strip I had to cut into 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, but it was going to be fine because that's all I needed around the outer edges. And that's what I'm going to do here, is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere all of my striped paper around the edges. And I bring back in my red paper, adhere it, then I adhere my green paper, and then finally I will bring my pictures back in just so that we can have a look at it before I cut anything else down, make sure everything fits, make sure that I'm liking how everything is still looking. And through the magic of photo editing, here we are, mat's complete. Okay, so the only thing missing now are those windows on the right-hand side. So I decide that I'm going to pull some red over because I just like the color red. And then I want to use that yellow vintage post decorative item on the left-hand side and put it in the center of my red rectangular blocks. So the first thing that I will have to do is I'm going to gut out the center of my red rectangles so that I have a little bit more of a window to be able to put my vintage post decoration in the inside. And that's what you see me doing right here. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. I think that this turned out super fun. I have some fun little trucks. I was going to put these, but when I put those blue in there, I'm not sure if they'll fit. They might be too long, but I might be able to pop them up and kind of catty corner and wampus them. So I'll see. I might put one up there. I might put the little truck up there. He's cute. He'll fit up there. So these are the embellishments that I'm thinking about using, old school. And this is where I am. So we've already been super long, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off. I will put it all together and I will attach it later so you can see the final. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call this yet. I hope that you guys enjoyed following along with my process. You see how midstream I just completely changed how I was going to look at this. But in the end, I'm really excited with how it turned out. I think it's a very fun, bright primary school page. It's using up old stash, which that is the point of Throwback Thursday. It's the point of our album rescue. Let's just get these photos in the album. So I will be done with another layout here shortly. I am super excited about seeing everybody tomorrow, Friday. So I'm super excited for those of you that'll be in Ocala. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I am determined for those of you following along to finish my Global Getaway album kit. So let's see if I can actually make it happen. All right, you guys have a great weekend and talk to you soon. Bye.